Welcome everybody, this is Commander Ramsey, and this battle we're going to set sail with the USS Georgia, a Tier 9 battleship equipped with a 457mm or 18-inch main battery and extended secondaries similar to the Massachusetts. This game's a little unusual. We didn't have any aircraft carriers or submarines, but did get our share of cruisers and battleships. However, we do got the Tier 9 Delaware hybrid, one on each side, so there will be some airplanes to contend with. I got this ship shortly after she came out. I believe I got her for coal. It's been so long ago I can't remember. But she does not do well on the broadside or even slightly angled. She can take some punishment, as you'll see in this game. But nonetheless, she's very formidable. Her guns are strong, but they're few. So you only got 6 barrels. So the key with this ship is to do your best to make those 6 barrels count. And as my custom, I tend to start out with HE shells, high explosive, in hopes I might set a fire or two before switching to AP when I get a good shot. But the 457s, you can deal some good damage with AP on cruisers, which you'll see. There's a couple of shots I think I get in this game. So I'll have my commander build and ship build at the end. It's a little different, but I think you'll enjoy it. What's good about the Georgia also, it does have a spotter plane, so you can try to make those guns count from a distance if, you know, mountains are not in the way. Some of these maps I absolutely despise. I wish they would bring back the ocean map more. Now here's a cruiser setting peacefully out by himself just beyond the small island. And poof, here comes the USS Black, enemy. My secondaries on him. Having obtained the Black some time ago, I know her torpedoes are quite slow, but they're very powerful, so you have to show the Black proper respect, which I tend to do here by slowing down in case he's already launched his torpedoes. Try to back up here because I feel like one thing you got to watch out for anytime in a battleship, of course, is if your leading destroyer out front gets destroyed prematurely or gets low in health and decides to skedaddle. And we've already lost our destroyer, and that's a really bad sign when you're a battleship and you know you've got a an enemy destroyer or submarine lurking about. So I back up. I notice my speed here with the speed boost. I can go over 200 seconds on the speed boost the way I've got this commander build and ship build orchestrated. So I'm doing about 15 knots backwards. And I thought I was going to eat one of the torpedoes, but I was far enough out of range. The Pommern's coming in here hard and fast, so I set my secondaries on him. Got my friendly Bismarck coming up behind me. Yeah, I think he sets his secondaries on the Pommern, so the Pommern starts to get pummeled. And there you go, there's the Bismarck setting his secondaries into action. Pommern's quickly trying to duck behind the island there because he's really getting pummeled by secondaries. I got almost 40 secondaries just in that short span. So you imagine this being a Massachusetts big brother. I would venture to say that's pretty much what the Georgia is. However, I don't think she can take quite the damage on the side that the Massachusetts can. So you have to be really careful, because you can be sent to port pretty quickly in the Georgia if you're not guarding yourself. I was backing up because I really don't know where the black is. He may have launched his torpedoes here again pretty soon, so I wanted to put some distance. The cruiser out in the distance, I try to get a few shots on him. I've already used my spotter plane and did not get much result out of that. You notice I did switch to AP. I was thinking maybe the Pommern might pop up around the corner, and I know my secondaries would get a fire started on him, but the cruiser's coming in hot, which kind of surprised me. So I do get a few shots on him using AP shells. So get about almost 10,000 damage on him. He starts to regret his actions after my secondaries start waylaying in on him and the AP shells, and he starts to come to a stop and regret his actions and backing up. The Pommern is still staying tucked in behind the rock, trying to battle my Bismarck on my team. Good penetrations there that time. You know, he probably didn't make the smartest move coming in a cruiser there. By the way, the mod station did get their player panels back up and running. You can see those on the left and right side of the screen, and it adds a little more value, I think, to the video. And I can see the black is smoked up. He's starting to... he's using his radar, I guess, because he doesn't have a lead ship out front. I go ahead and use my repair party, and as well as my heal. My mod station says it was time for it, so that's what I tend to follow. Putting some secondary shots in there, trying to get some in on the black. He's trying to squeal out and get out, leading a smoke trail behind him. Pommern still hiding behind the island there. The Tier 7 Rook is coming up. You notice the guys on the left are starting to argue, and they're on the same team, mind you, arguing about my ship. But I don't get involved with the discussion. I'm still in the battle. I got lucky on this time. I probably should have taken a few torpedo hits, but I just got lucky. I was focused more on the... I did take one, and I was focused more on the Rook. Wow. Alright, sound the horn of victory on that. It's funny, they were talking about the Georgia being OP'd, and then I dev strike the Rook there, give them an example. And if that's not enough, go ahead and finish off the Pommern. Sound the horn of victory once again. The guns are great. The enemy teammate is complaining about, I guess, he's not happy with his team's performance. Anyway, the black has popped up once again. I got to give him a star for being brave. He's going into a, well, maybe suicidal in this case. He's not going to be able to launch those torpedoes by the way he's angled in there. He'd already launched them anyway. If there is a weakness that Georgia has other than its hull on the sides, it's probably the fact that it does not have hydro. So you have to be real careful. I do have some adjustments for that in the commander build, and you'll see that. I try to send a warning message to the black. It's time for you to head to port. I don't normally do that, but I didn't think it was a wise move that he made tucking up in there. He probably should have circled around and headed out, but he didn't. I thought I might finish him off here, but not quite enough. Secondaries trained on him, getting a few shots. My friendly is going in there. Give him the being tough there, turning his radar on. And the black goes down. You can see the plume of fire. Anyway, the good thing about the boost on the Georgia, here I am behind the mountain. And in most games, if you're playing a battleship, you're going to sit over here and cook hamburgers or grill dogs out on deck for a while before you get back in the action. But in this case, with the speed boost, the speed comes up quickly, and I'll be around the other side of this mountaintop in no time. The game's been tight, but we've taken a slight lead. We're ahead by one ship, now two ships, so things are starting to go in our favor. But however, we're in a bad position. The enemy team is closing in on our flag. And I'm trying to help out our friendly Alaska here. He's got himself in a situation, but his health is low. Get some pretty good damage on the Leon. Leon goes down, but unfortunately the Alaska gets zapped by a shell coming in from one of the enemy ships. And it looks like we're going to have to stop the Delaware, who's taken up a position there in our cap zone. Fortunately, the map is in, the mountain is in my way, and I can't get any shots in on the Delaware, but our friendly cruiser is moving up to try to take some shots on him, hopefully to prevent him from capping. I'm going to ask our Delaware here to try to cap the flag, enemy flag. He's got plenty of health. But I didn't realize that he's going to have to go up against the Illinois, which is basically a battleship with Des Moines guns. It's insane. And unfortunately, you really can't stand up against that very long. Here the Delaware is showing some broadside a little bit at a slight angle. I try to make him punish. I thought I might have the shot there. A little overconfidence on my part. Did get about 15.5K on him in Confederate. Points are starting to rack up. My friendly cruiser starting to help out, but he's having to be real careful. I'm showing a little broadside here myself. Got to be careful. My secondaries are opening up on the Delaware. Getting a lot of ricochets. He's trying for his superstructure, which he's got a lot of it. Got a fire started on him, and secondaries are really waylaying in on him. He does get a good shot on me here, and it almost takes me out. That was close. Fortunately, I had my heel ready to come right back up. I've decided here I'm going to slow down and angle in a little better. That probably was showing one of the Georgia's weaknesses there. He was still able to hit me good, even though I had a somewhat of an angle. Go for his superstructure. He's firing off in the distance. I'm not sure who he was firing at. But anyway, I'm just going to farm him down if I can. with help from the team. The weakness of the hybrid ships is they have a lot of superstructure, and you can whittle them down pretty quickly with rapid firing guns, whether that be secondaries or main batteries that are rapid firing. Here I recognize I've got to get back, turn around and try to help out the Bismarck. I need to learn to spell horn correctly. I get a little jubilant there, but the horn of victory is at hand. So ship's turning around quickly. The Georgia is fast. For a battleship, it's remarkably quick. I was worried the Illinois was going to whittle down the Bismarck. But fortunately, the cruiser on our team starts to get within range and start firing as well, and that's going to help out. Because the Illinois is really setting on I believe it's it's either a Montana hull or maybe it's Missouri, Iowa. Maybe it's an Iowa class hull. But nonetheless, it doesn't go down easy. I got a little mixed up here on my fingers, trying to get into position to where I could shoot my guns over the island here. Be sure to tune in here. I'm going to go across or go through the commander build, and as well as the ship build for the Georgia, just in case that you've either got her or in the future at Christmas time or July 4th or something like that, they open it back up where you can get the Georgia. I highly recommend it. That was a good game. You notice got 3 defendeds in there, no caps because I was too busy trying to defend ours. 4 fires. Got a lot of good penetrations on the shells, 29. Got a Confederate as well as a Dev Strike on that Tier 7 battleship. Had an angle, no less. Those 457s really hurt. That's where the 2 Citadels come from. 171 secondary hits, and I did earn task 9 on the Yamamoto campaign, and I think I'm only 4 battle stars away from getting him. I congratulated our Delaware. He put up a good effort, but he was no match for the Illinois there in the cap zone. Same with the Alaska. They both made valiant efforts. And our Bismarck and also the Okeechobee. I decimate these new ship names. Mr. McWillis, he did a good job. Anyway, move on down here to the details of the battle. If you want to see those, if not, you can fast forward to the commander and ship builds. There's the Pommern, 58 secondary hits, 1 fire, 13 AP shell hits. Take him out. There it is, the Tier 7 Rook, only 3 AP shells, 31,747 damage. Took him out on a Dev Strike. There's the Delaware on the enemy team. A lot of action there, 18 AP shells, 93 secondaries. Almost 23,000 on the Tier 8 cruiser. The Black had some good secondary damage on. Notice the secondaries there, 18,000 damage, and I'm sure more than one of those fires was related to the secondaries, so probably a good 30,000 there. On the credits, got down there almost 33,000 on the Commander XP, which is great for building up your Commander XP, which I am doing now in anticipation of getting Yamamoto. so I can move him up in his skills quicker. Alright, I had used Alexander Overchikin. I'm terrible at these names. But he's one of those Russian-American citizens that you can put on both nations. Here you notice my ship build. I use the engine boost, which extends that out to 234 seconds. And I use the Repair Party Mod Station 1, which is great. Use the Secondary Battery Mod 1, Damage Control System Mod 2, Concealment Mod 1. You can use Ship Consumables Mod 1, that helps, but on this one I wanted a little more protection, because you can see even with that 14.8 detection is not that great. So I stick with the Concealment System Mod 1, because when you get into those Tier 10 and 11 games, you're going to be shooting from distance a lot. Plotting Room Mod 2, use that there, that helps. And the spotter aircraft, that helps a lot on getting some good long distance shots. As far as signals go, you can see how I've got that, including the secondary signal there. They go out to 11.3 kilometers, which is quite good. Increased fire on that India Delta for better HP at recovery. Looking at the commander's build, it helps to have those guns swinging around, being that you only have 6 of them. So you can see my build here. Demolition Expert does get your fire starting capability up to 45%. Main battery goes out to 20 kilometers without the spotter. Preventative maintenance helps keeping your secondaries in the game. And there's the vigilance skill I use. It does help a little bit on detection of torpedoes. Greasing the gears here is one of those Alexander features you really like, because it gets your guns around even quicker. 11% less dispersion. You notice in the battle how tight my shells were together. That really helps, particularly if you're at mid-range. It can be devastating to the enemy. And the manual secondary aiming is really great on this ship. Here I've got the emergency repair expert, and of course fire prevention, which is quite handy on those flame-throwing cruisers. There's the Commander XP, being this is a premium ship. It gets it up to 915% with that bonus flag.